Hey guys, Insomnia here with some more AFK Arena. Today we're going to do a little bit of a longer video. It's going to be an in-depth video on White Sushi's AFK Arena cheat sheet. We're going to go ahead and break it down because I still get a lot of questions about this. This is the general end game PvE tier list, and it's also kind of an early game guide that you can go by. If you think from day one, if you follow a guide similar to this, you will perform very, very well in AFK Arena, especially if you're free to play. So we'll go ahead and we'll break down the guides, we'll break down some of the heroes, and we will go from there. So the first hero in the guide, of course, is Rowan. Rowan is always a priority hero just because of his abilities. He does have the Healthy Supplies abilities, which absolutely is by far the best support when it comes to a regular class hero. Healthy Supplies heals allies when they need it, which is very, very powerful. Also coupled with his ability Dazzle, when he throws gold coins, they can either stun targets or they can recover up to 70 energy points, which does hit multiple times as he's throwing coins. Plus, he also does steal energy, which makes him a very, very powerful ally to have. Second hero that we have of overpowered, of course, is Tassie. Tassie is a very, very powerful hero, just again, due to her skills. She does have a slumber ability, which is mass crowd control. She actually puts the team to sleep for 5 seconds. Her teleportation ability keeps her alive, and her banishment ability allows for a second form of crowd control. She is a hero that her signature item only needs to go to plus 20. Rowan, you want to take him all the way to plus 30. He does well at any signature item level, meaning if you just unlock his signature item, he will still perform exceptionally well. But the higher you get his signature item, the more energy he is restoring with the potions, making him just better and better as a support class. So looking back to the guide, the third hero on here, of course, we do have the twins and Taylene. The twins are a hero that are kind of unique. You do need to get their signature item up with the twins just for the simple fact of survivability. So when you look at the signature item ability, when they're in close proximity to each other, their attack rating is stronger. When they're far apart, which a majority of the time they are run from the back row, defense will be increased by 15%. So not only getting them to Mythic, but getting their signature item up is a priority because, of course, their skills are all very, very powerful. Hope, of course, which is their ultimate ability, removes negative effects from allies. Also increase haste, which increase energy regeneration for all of your heroes. Super powerful. The cleanse effect, very, very powerful as well. Grace restores 130% of the weakest ally's health, and Leilani restores the energy of an ally with the highest remaining energy by 40 points. Again, very, very powerful ability. And of course, the Unity, which links two heroes together, increasing attack, defense, crit, dodge, accuracy, and life leech, which is crazy. Again, that is why so many people run the twins, which are a priority. And of course, we do have Taylene. Taylene is the only hero that falls in an S++ category. You do have to have her signature item to be effective. The reason is when she dies, increases the attack rating by 10%, defense rating by 20% every time she is reborn. So at a very minimum, having her signature item unlocked at a plus 10 gives her 20 and 40% instead of her 10 and 20%, which makes her very, very powerful because this is every time that she dies and she is reborn with Phoenix Rising, she gets that much stronger, which in turn just makes her a crazy, crazy strong hero. So looking back at our guide, the next two are Aziz and Mahira. So looking at these couple of heroes, Aziz and Mahira, Aziz, super, super powerful because, again, of his energy regeneration, the Mental Fury. Allies recover 50 energy points every 3 seconds. Even if he dies, they still get energy back, which is very powerful. Ultimate ability negates attack rating. So he can actually burn the ground, negating the attack rating, which, again, is very powerful. Horrify prevents enemies from using ultimate abilities for 2 seconds every time one of Aziz's teammates use an ultimate ability. Again, super, super powerful hero to build, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And of course, Mahira, She is a supercharged version of Tassie with her Mesmerize ability. Tassie puts the heroes to sleep for 5 seconds. Mesmerize entrances the enemies for 5 seconds. Not only does it nerf their energy recovery, enemies will not recover energy when attacked, but they will attack each other. So they will literally turn on each other and do damage to each other, which is very, very powerful. The other one is the Whiplash. 50% of damage inflicted is converted to the health with Mihira, which in turn kind of builds off of her signature item. So her signature item, if at full health, any excessive healing ability or effect that Mihira receives will be converted into energy, making her a super powerful energy battery in herself. Also with her ultimate ability, super powerful. Which brings us to the last hero that we're going to cover, which is Daemon. Daemon does require a plus 20 signature item to really shine, and the reason is his Blood Shield ability. So after using the ability Blood Shield, while the shield is still in use, Daemon temporarily gains 40% of the enemy target's attack rating and 60% of their defense. So as you're making more progression into the campaign, enemies get stronger and stronger, and he is taking 40% of the attack, 60% of the defense. So making him super, super strong. He can outdamage any other hero that I've seen. When he's in a team, especially with Graveborn, he outdamages everybody. I've seen him outdamage Shamira. He outdamages Talene. He's outdamaged Saurus. It is insane the amount of damage that he can do with Stitchy. So looking back at the guide, you can go through a couple more heroes. We'll go ahead and put a link to this guide overall so you can see kind of the core heroes running through, breaking them up. As you can see, a majority of the core heroes do require signature items commitment to them. So looking further down in the guide, and this is where we definitely want to break it down, you can see you do have your core heroes there, commonly used heroes, again, with the signature item that they kind of require. SI1 is a plus 10 signature item, SI2 is plus 20, SI3 is signature item 3 or S3, as well as furniture, which is the green. So White Sushi really broke down this guide to heroes that are commonly used. But in addition, this is the part that I really want to stress when you look at it being somewhat of an early guide. So if you're building heroes that are overpowered in the top tier, commonly used heroes, those are the heroes that you do want to build. But looking here at the store, so we'll go ahead and we will jump into the store here. So as you can see, buy these every time they pop up, which those three are the priority. You do have your essence here. As you can see, you have your elite stones and your Poe coins. It's showing here, it says buy only amplifying emblems is enough. So I disagree a little bit with this, with the amplifying emblems, and I will show you here. As you can see, so this is the store. So Hero's Essence, he says to stop buying around level 270. Depending on your account, if you find when you're getting the resonating crystal all the way up to its max level, you're running out of Hero Essence, then I would definitely focus on buying Hero Essence every day. If you find that you're running out of EXP, which I am in this scenario, I'm not going to buy the Hero Essence because I already have enough. Second part to the store that I really focus on is, of course, the emblems. Primordial emblems, they do come in time. What I do as a general rule of thumb is we're going to go ahead and purchase these, even though it says you should maintain a healthy balance between the two. I make sure that personally my account has 220. Right now I have 33 emblems here. 220, and we'll see it a little bit in the guide, is the primordial emblems you need to unlock a signature item and take that signature item to a plus 10, which is where you want to be. So making sure I will purchase the gold emblems and the primordial emblems until I'm sitting on 220 and waiting for another hero to take up higher. Also in the store, the Poe coins, every single day buying the Poe coins. Super imperative. Every day buy the Poe coins. Hands down, the best purchase. They will accumulate. You're getting 250 on this account every single day with the Poe coins. So make sure that you are picking up those Poe coins every single day, which brings us a little further down to the guild store. So looking at the guild store itself, once you hit chapter 26, you will see it as all mythic gear. You no longer get the legendary gear. Legendary gear, do not buy the legendary gear. You will replace it with mythic enough. Also looking at pieces that you need, which again, we will cover in a little bit when we look at the actual gear, kind of the breakdown of how you should evaluate the gear. And if you're following White Sushi's guide, and if you're following it to a T, you will again do really, really well in AFK Arena. Looking at the Labyrinth store, again, I have a little kind of back and forth with the Labyrinth store, because looking here, Sushi really focuses on Arthur being a priority. 100% agree with that. Arthur should be the priority overall. Wukong, he has as the number 2. Wukong does decent in the campaign. He does exceptional in PvP. Overall, a lot of players that have him do not use him in the campaign. So depending what your focus is, me personally, I don't really PvP very much. So looking at Wukong as number 2, I would put the red chests at number 2. I would focus at adding these red chests on to number 2, and then also following it up with the Emblems of Space. Remember, the Emblems of Space are specifically for your dimensional heroes, meaning that once you have Arthur unlocked, which 100% Labyrinth store I would put as a priority. This account, I even started from day 1. We saved straight up from Arthur. We bought him first before anyone else. I know, again, Sushi's guide, it says possibly Chimera. Chimera, you get a lot of copies of. Chimera, you can drop in the wish list. Arthur, you cannot. Arthur, once you have him built, he is completely done, which I love. Then I bought emblems for him, which I'm not even using these yet, but I will continue to buy them as we need them, as well as red chests are kind of the priority. The rest of the breakdown with the guide you can kind of see here. Kind of going down the line, 3.5, he does have the blue gems, which are early game picking those up. And then, of course, we have Estrilda, or we have Thorin there, which is at 3. Estrilda's at 4, which I'm not sure I'd put Estrilda that high. I would probably make sure that I built a Chimera before I build the Estrilda. So again, that's my personal preference. So I would do number 1 as Arthur. I would do number 2 as the red chest. Wukong probably in there at 3 or 4. Thorin cheese. So using actually Thorin is used a majority of endgame. Most of the team comps do run Thorin for the Thorin cheese effect. So looking at the next section, which is the Challenger store. 25 faction emblems is the value at slightly less than 3750 diamonds for the same amount of tokens. An elite hero is valued at 2718. So looking at the Challenger store itself, of course, the ultimate priority here is Aziz. The reason he is why we talked about him before, overpowered with his abilities. You use him on a lot of campaign stages. He's in the Lockout team comp. He's also used in a lot of Twisted Essence bosses overall, so a priority building him. Athalia is good, which I know White Sushi put Athalia at 2, and then Flora, just for the simple fact that you cannot get them. Personally, I have Athalia built, but I don't really use her just because I have so many more heroes that are so much easier to get. Similar to using Cecilia, similar to Athalia, that I've kind of replaced. Athalia still does have her place, but she has been backlined quite a bit just for the reason she is difficult to build. So you figure if you need 250,000 of your Challenger tokens, you're talking months down the road to build Aziz all the way to Ascended, which I would 100% focus on. Then to start building Athalia, which a hero that you might use eventually. But Athalia only performs exceptionally with her plus 30 signature item, which is her bleed effect. So I would even say going for red chest or going from Flora might even be my 2 and 3, where I know Sushi does have them as 3 and 4. But Athalia, again, it is going to be a long road to build her, and a lot of people don't utilize her. Again, PvP, she sees a lot of action, but when you look at the actual stats in the actual boards, not many people use her outside of PvP. I don't see much play with her in the campaign. It seems with her being an older hero, a lot of people have just essentially just replaced her. So looking back at the guide, let's go up just a little bit here. The early game, generally Wukong, because Wukong they give you for free, so it's very, very easy to get Wukong. And then when you look, Chimera, so if you're running the early game, Chimera is the absolute priority because you can push her all the way to chapter 22, 23, 24. If you guys didn't see the most recent video with Smash Mode's actually using her in chapter 32, which is awesome. But once you start hitting the 180, the 200 plus, this is when you're going to start making team comps overall. So using one or two heroes from the top and a couple of the support heroes down in the bottom. As you can see down here, we have, of course, Rowan. We have Tassie, which is super powerful. Thorin is down there. We have Rose, which is good. Arden up to the 160. We have Nara. We have Namora. Brutus, I probably wouldn't put down there, but Brutus they give you free copies of, which is good. Quick little look at the Ascension chart, and we'll run through this really quick because essentially when you have a hero, which you can see here, you need 2 copies, so 2 pieces of food to take them up to Legendary, 1 copy to take them to Legendary Plus, then any Legendary Plus of the same faction. You actually need 1 to get to Mythic, 1 to get to Mythic Plus, then 2 copies of the hero overall. So when you look here, you have your original copy, so you need 1, here you need 2, 3, and 4. So essentially, once you have 4 copies of the hero, you might not have the food yet, but once you have the 4 copies you need of a hero, you can go ahead and build that hero. Because if not, you're just going to be sitting at Mythic Plus on a lot of heroes. So that's kind of the general rule of thumb. Also adding stars onto heroes. Taking a hero from Mythic Plus to Ascended gives them a 20% stat boost. That's right, 20%. Taking them from Ascended to Ascended with 1 star adds 2.5, roughly 2.5%. So making sure that heroes you're building just to Ascended at this point, and there's really 2 reasons that I'll cover for this. So the 2 reasons to take heroes all the way to Ascended is, of course, the stat boost. The stat boost is the biggest thing, followed by the Field of Stars. So with the Field of Stars, additional Hero Choice monthly pack draws +1 at 20 Ascended heroes. Remember, dimensional heroes do not count towards the Ascended heroes, so the quicker that you can unlock the big torch will allow you to build heroes that are prioritized in the overpowered or the commonly used or the very powerful heroes you can utilize more of. So once you have the big torch unlocked, you can actually hop right into the Noble Tavern. You can pick any regular hero that you want here, no dimensionals, no celestials, and no hypogens. But if we wanted to build Daemon and we were focused on him, we could go ahead and choose him. Having more Ascended heroes will give you more chances to go ahead and pull that hero as you continue to do your summons. So not only does taking a hero to Ascended give you a giant stat boost, is you get to unlock different tiers of the big torch, which allows you to build heroes and ascend heroes even faster. In addition, once my heroes hit Ascended, I drop them out of the wish list just because the exact same reason. When a hero gets to Ascended, they're very, very strong in the faction towers. They're good in the campaign. You'll add stars to them eventually, whether it's pulling elite stones, whether it's pulling cards. You will add stars to them eventually, but overall, the goal is to get as many Ascended heroes as you can to go ahead and unlock the big torch and actually make a lot more progression in there. So looking here, we have a couple more pieces of this, which armor, the gear priority slots. So boots are first, always first. Boots give speed, which gives you more attack, gives you more energy gain, more ultimates. So when you're looking at gear, so let's say I have a couple faction scrolls that I want to go ahead and change some of my gear. Boots should always be the #1 priority that you're using faction gear on to specifically get gear that you're looking for. Followed by the weapon. Weapon is the second most important just because of the added bonus that it gives you. Then the hat, then the chest. Chest gives minimal stats. Chest is straight defense when you do level up the chest item. It just adds straight stats. But now a lot of people ask, well, what if I already have my gear already up to, I already have it to tier 1. What should I focus on there? Which is awesome. This is exactly what Sushi focused on. 0 to tier 1, strength and agility heroes, boots first. So again, the boots, the weapon, the hat, the chest. So that does not change. When you look at the intelligent, so when you look at the casters, when you look at the mages, weapon comes first before boots. So the overall attack rating that you're going to get increased from the weapon, from the tier stones, is better for intelligent heroes. Not the strength base, not the agility, but the intelligent heroes. Prioritize your stones to the weapons first. Boots still give strength heroes MSPD, which is haste, and agility adds dodge, which are relevant, which makes heroes very, very powerful. Tier 1 to tier 2, weapon, boots, hat, and chest. And like I was saying earlier, if you follow this guide to a T from day 1, you will be far more successful in AFK Arena than I was starting over a year ago when this started, because we just put gear on whoever, didn't really have much guidance, didn't have a lot of content like this where we can actually just go straight through the content and see the heroes we need, who we need to focus on, and that is where my pay to win account comes in very, very strongly. So the next part that Sushi kind of covers is the faction priority. Go light bearers for faction scrolls until at least 3 to 4 copies of Rowan. This is a lot easier now, especially if you have the Field of Stars unlocked, because you can actually just drop Rowan right into the desired heroes and you can go ahead and pull copies of him, which is absolutely phenomenal. After you do the light bearers, go to the Wilders. Wilders are a team comp that you're going to go ahead and use pretty much through the rest of the game. There's not many team comps, there's not many PvP specs that do not run a Wilder team, whether it's Iran and Leica together, Tassi Nomura. You got to have Saurus. There's a lot of heroes that will be built from there. Graveborn, mathematically the best faction, giving you the least low tier heroes, but definitely Wilders. So light bearers until you have Rowan, 3 to 4 copies. Honestly, Rowan I would get to Mythic, just because when he's at Mythic, you will do absolutely phenomenal. So essentially you just need 4 copies of Rowan to take him up to Mythic, unlocking his signature item, which is super, super powerful for the rest of the game. And then go ahead and dump those faction scrolls into Wilders. So the examples start, as you can see, heroes that only go to Legendary Plus, these are just your fodder heroes. So these are heroes that will always go to fodder because they are non-ascended heroes. So essentially these heroes down here will use these heroes to ascend themselves. But Arden early game is very, very strong. So is Savius. Very strong in the beginning. So pretty much up until you get to probably chapter 12 through 15, you start building team comps at that point. So whoever you have and whoever you have the highest at, I would go ahead and build. So the final part of this guide actually covers the signature items and the costs. So it just does a quick little dynamic of how much signature items cost. And like I said before, this is where I would really focus on 2 things, because we know it costs 220 emblems to get a signature item from unlocked to +10. So make sure you're sitting on at least 220 primordial emblems. Buy them out of the shop until you have 220. If you're sitting on 220, perfect. Then make sure you save those, because remember, you will also get emblems from doing summons. So when you do summons, the Noble Tavern will actually give you emblems. It'll give you primordial emblems. Once you progress further, you'll actually get red chests too, but it's every, I believe, like 60 or 80 summons, so it's quite a few to get red chests. But these 2 you will get and you will use regularly. So making sure that you have at least, at minimum, 220 of primordial emblems at all times. Amplifying emblems, always buy them from the shop. There will never be a time that I've played this game that you do not use these. They drop after chapter 18, but there's never been a time that I'm like, oh, I'm just stacking amplifying emblems. I don't need any more of them. There will always be a time that you go ahead and use them. And as you can see here for the red emblems, 300 red emblems to take a hero from a plus 20 to a plus 30. So taking the signature item that high, of course, requires right here red chest. So it requires 300 of these emblems, is why red chests are so vital. Because when you look at places to get red chests, remember, we need 300. Here you get 50 per month. So that's not many to get 300. Challenger store, same. You can get 75 for a ton of challenger tokens. But again, that is per month. So to get 300, you need events. This is why events prioritize getting red chests so strongly, is because of the number of red chests you need to actually get a hero to a plus 30 signature item is very, very vital. In addition, if you look, taking a signature item from plus 30 to 40 takes 1,000, a little over 1,000 chests, meaning that keep heroes at a plus 30 signature item. Your Celestials, your Hypogeans, your Dimensional heroes, keep them at plus 30 unless you're a whale. If you're going to whale it up and you're going to drop an insane amount of faction emblems, red chests, I mean 1,000, I think it's 1,050 to go ahead and get the hero up to a plus 40 signature item, which again is absolutely crazy because that is a huge investment. So in turn, I could get 3 other heroes from plus 20 to plus 30 in the same amount of time that it would take me to get 1 hero from plus 30 to plus 40. So again, if you're a whale, go ahead and buy all of them that you want. Go ahead and whale it up. For all of our regular players, especially free to play, you have to plan your progressions. You have to focus on what heroes you're going to get up. Also, in addition, when it comes to the emblems themselves, when it comes to heroes, doing them 10 at a time. So essentially plus 5. So Nara needs to go to plus 10 before any of the other heroes go to plus 10. So when you see I have Arthur at 10, I have Lucius at 10, Nakaruru is at 10, Ezio is at 10, Screg is at 10, Rosaline is at 10, Pharrell is at 10, Skarath is at 10. We still need Solus. I unlocked her item to go ahead and just unlock it to get into the faction tower. Cecilia is at 5, which this is what happened on my main account, and this is what a lot of players do. So here we have Cecilia at plus 5, and we have Nara at plus 5. Essentially, choosing one hero, taking that hero all the way to plus 10 will provide a better overall performance of the hero than unlocking all kinds of heroes like I have here. Well, we're focusing on them here, but that's why I haven't spent any of my amplifying emblems. Is I'm choosing one hero specifically, which I think in this case, it'll probably be Arthur. Work on Arthur, focus all your energy, all your dedication with your primary or your amplifying emblems to take Arthur to plus 20, and then go down the line and continue to make progression to other heroes that are plus 20, which always refer to White Sushi as another perfect guide for signature items in kind of the priority list of signature items. So not only go through, is the hero worth getting the signature item higher? Is it worth taking it to a plus 20? Does it need to be at a plus 30? Or is it worth taking up at all? Is it worth getting a hero signature item any higher than maybe a plus 10? Chimera, for instance, most people say plus 20 is all you ever need. Chimera, I definitely agree. So making sure that you're planning out where you're using your emblems on what heroes, just planning. I mean, the biggest thing in AFK Arena is you can't take back your emblems as of right now. We're hoping that Lilith will give a reset, which would be a very, very cool ability. But overall, just make sure you plan the heroes that you want to get up. That's why a lot of players look at this account and say, well, you know, I have Iran up, I have Saurus up, I have Taline up, as you can see there. We're also working on Mahira, which is close. How do you have so many heroes already at a plus 30 signature item? For Iran, he was the first to plus 20. We ran him all the way to plus 30. Did not focus any chests on anywhere else. Did not use anything anywhere else. And that is what I'm saying here with the emblems is overall, just make sure you focus your emblems on one specific hero at a time, so you're not spreading your emblems like I made. The big mistake on my main account was spreading emblems too thin. Both the amplifying and the red chests were spread way too thin. So really hope overall, in summary, this lends some guidance, like I said, especially if you're a newer player that is just starting out. If you follow the guide, Sushi has a ton of guides out there, absolutely phenomenal content. But overall, you can follow his guide and follow it to a T from day one, building team comps, building heroes that are going to be successful, using your resources where you need them to, making sure you're smart when it comes to the store, when it comes to Labyrinth tokens, because you do have a limited amount of them, and the Challenger store, making sure also that you're pushing your faction towers. You're collecting up your stones, you're doing your bounty boards, you're doing everything you need in AFK Arena. A lot of players ask, how do I get so many gems? On my faction accounts, I don't spend anything. All of the gems strictly come from what I do in a week's time. So I have over 10,000 gems usually on those accounts over a week's time with everything you do from the lab, the bounty board, any of the events, anything like that. So very, very cool. Absolutely love AFK Arena. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. I wanted to break down the guide a little more because I think some of it's a lot of data and some of it can be confusing, especially when you're just looking at emblems and what it costs for emblems, but really breaking it down, giving you a little bit more of an in-depth look at it. So I'm going to go ahead and put the link to White Sushi's guide down below. I hope it was helpful. I know 95% of it I definitely agree with. Some heroes such as Wukong, Athalia, I wouldn't prioritize personally, just because I see them a lot more in PvP than I ever do in the campaign stages. But again, let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.